The December holidays normally call for a surge in live performances, not to mention the influx of visitors and a seasonal bonus for local economies. But this year, what used to be live has either been canceled or transformed into something virtual. Also being transformed are the efforts to build audiences by ArtsBoston. To tell us about the pivoting and a new kind of holiday wish list is the organization's executive director, Catherine Peterson. Thank you very much for being with us, Catherine.
It's a pleasure, Chris.
It's good to see you again, even though we're not where we usually are when we're doing it live in person.
No, I miss seeing you live, but we've got a lot of good things to talk about, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I know one thing is that, there's been a lot of attention to how much arts organizations are hurting right now. But on the other hand, you looked at the opposite end of the equation, the audiences. You did a survey. What did you find?
Yeah, we've actually been surveying audiences in Boston, Greater Boston, since June, every month, to make sure that we get a baseline and we can see changes. And what we found is that people are really smart here in Massachusetts. They know it's not safe to go back live yet. So they're being very careful about that. But they also understand how important the arts are in terms of providing joy, providing solace, providing fun and laughter. And so we've seen most recently in our most recent survey a big increase in people who are looking at online arts as a way to engage, especially with their family and friends coming up with the holidays.
Well, we're not unaccustomed to streaming videos because we looked at them for years on YouTube. Some are much better than others, but I think at the same time, when you think of converting live to virtual, we're afraid we're going to be set up for disappointment. Somebody in a cramped room, the acoustics aren't good, but maybe things have changed. I mean, in terms of the quality of virtual performances, can people expect maybe things have been, maybe the game has been pushed up a bit?
Absolutely. And there are two things that have happened over the last 6, 7 months. And that is that we've had folks like the Boston Symphony Orchestra who have really taken the lead and provide such a mark of excellence in the video performances, the behind the scenes looks, the master classes, the at homes with their musicians. I mean, we're seeing a part of the BSO that we've never seen before and the pops now. And that's miraculous. And they're getting in front of millions of people worldwide. And what we've also seen is that folks realize, and they know this from the surveys we've been doing, that audiences are looking for quality. They're looking to make sure they can really enjoy it. So folks are being very careful. And what we're seeing coming up for the holidays, it's superb. It's really well done.
I want to go back to one word you used before, and that's holiday experience, because you can get, good acoustics and great camera work, but where does the experience come in exactly?
The experience comes from that miraculous ability of a great artist to be able to reach through the screen and touch you with their performance. And when we have something like Yo-Yo Ma, who's going to be joining the Christmas revels this year for the first time, Yo-Yo lives in Cambridge. He's usually in the audience, actually, but to have him as part of that, we're going to be touched by that, and we're going to feel that in a way that we really, really feel engaged.
You've mentioned one familiar holiday name. Black Nativity is also doing a virtual performance this year too, right?
It is, and it's such a special year for them. It's their 50th anniversary, and it is absolutely one of the highlights of every year. And they are taking such care in making sure that folks don't just look to the past with those 50 years, but look ahead so that friends, family can gather around and really celebrate all that Black Nativity brings. It's such a joyous and incredibly moving experience.
Well, I won't be able to repeat the in-person performance I went to in Dorchester last year about Boston Baroque, but there is going to be an online presence. Anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. First of all, their Messiah this year is an all-star Messiah. They have taken such care to bring together um, a real great selection of the wonderful artists they've had in the past and to put them together into a Messiah that we've never seen before, with the best bits of all sorts of different folks. And here's the other thing. It's free, no charge.
I look at all these different categories you have on the Arts Boston site because we're talking about, not just classical or even the traditional music in Black Nativity, but we're talking about newer music. We're talking about anything from hip hop, jazz, pop, and folk. Anything you can tell us about that part of the spectrum?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to especially to Urban Nutcracker. You know, so many folks when they think Nutcracker, they think of the Boston Ballet, which is going to be gorgeous, and that's certainly going to be available on our promotion of the Arts Boston Holiday Sampler. But we also have Urban Nutcracker, and it's their 20th year. And Tony Williams and his colleagues used the Duke Ellington jazz version of Tchaikovsky's beautiful Nutcracker score, and it is so much fun.
A couple of other entries I happen to pick up on. A very familiar name for us, Veronica Robles from East Boston. And there's also a group called Room Barocco, which I never heard of before, but they sound very interesting as well.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad, and especially that you mentioned Veronica, who, again, you talk about an artist who just jumps through the screen. She's doing a Mexican Christmas in partnership with Celebrity Series from her home. And how special is that going to be to really be invited into her home and see her beautiful music making and performance come to life before us?
What about the minds of these artists? Because I mean, in addition to sort of pivoting for the technology, what about pivoting to the moment? Because what we're all going through, are they sort of focusing on that in some way?
Yeah, I think that the holidays are always really important to arts organizations because they are such a big moneymaker for the rest of the year. And not being able to come together in person makes it all the more important for us as people who appreciate that and want to go back live next year to make sure we support arts organizations. The prices are quite low, and if they're free, we can also make a donation. So we're seeing arts organizations wanting to make sure that they both give back to audiences and to their communities, yet also have an opportunity for us to support them.
No, tell me a little bit about how you're promoting this through your website in any other way, because what I saw so far, it looked very user friendly about how much things cost, or maybe if there were these options for donations. Anything else that people should know about if they want to track this down?
Yeah, absolutely. It's at artsbostonholiday.org, really easy. And what we've done is to put together all of the holiday performances that we think families, friends, people by themselves. I'm going to be home alone with my two cats this holiday. And believe me, we're going to sample all sorts of things I haven't had the time to see before, which is exciting. So you can go to artsbostonholiday.org, and we have all the links there. Makes it really easy to find. And the other thing we found out from our research is that certain people just aren't as comfortable watching arts online. So we are adding tips and tricks to make it really easy. And we're really proud of all of our arts organization colleagues. They also have made it very simple to engage and to make sure we can bring the arts to homes.
I know so far we've been talking about these virtual performances as a surrogate for the real thing, but on the other hand, are these organizations learning new tricks, as it were, things that might be good to continue even after the pandemic?
Absolutely. And also, as the pandemic, there's going to be a long tail with this, and, you know, where people don't all go back at once. So, while live performances will likely be starting up this summer, the fall, not everybody's going to come back at once. So, the idea of having both a hybrid with a live performance, yet also being able to access it online is one thing. And I think the idea of really making sure that folks who aren't always able to make it live, this is an incredible way to bring that into their homes and make sure that the arts are accessible to everybody.
Finally, Catherine, one more reminder if people want to find your website with all the information.
It's artsbostonholiday.org. And this is for the rest of December. We'll have all the best things you want to see, whole range, free, low price. Folks can find what they love and know, but also sample new things.
Thank you very much for taking the time to join us, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you, Chris.
Thank you. That was Catherine Peterson from Arts Boston. We'll have more news in just a moment.